In this episode, we're going to talk about out-of-home advertising and how previous and current waves of the COVID pandemic affected it and its relation to digital advertising.
With so many different platforms,
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube,
and their purposes evolving daily, navigating social media can be, well, complicated. Welcome to the Social Media Sucks podcast from Cupco,
Social media.
where we unpack the latest trends and help remove the suck from social media.
Welcome to the Social Media Sucks podcast, you guys. You're tuning in for a dose of marketing and to get what's happening in the ever-changing social media landscape. And the one constant we have is Chris Cobanus, our CEO.
What's up, guys? I'm always here. Try the veal.
Yeah, actually, second constant. It's
I'm like
Andy
a semi-constant by now.
Semi-constant, yeah, when we don't have external guests. And it's our great lead strategist at Cupco.
Yeah, I'm a subject matter expert, if I can say that.
Sure, okay.
I was just reading a lot of literature.
What was you reading, Andy?
Literature?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, literature.
On
Yeah.
what? On out-of-home advertising?
Yeah, also that and
Long
other stuff. And then I
reports.
read somewhere this like subject matter expert word, and I was like, "Ooh, that's fancy.
That's
I want
cool.
that.
Okay.
I want to be a subject matter expert."
So, guys, we're here to talk about out-of-home advertising.
Yes.
Can you sum up what does that mean?
Out of home advertising is anything that's out of your home. So it's billboards, it's any sort of like street
Bus
display,
benches, whatever,
bus
yeah.
benches, whatever you come across when you are not home is out of home advertising.
Yeah.
Yep. In cinemas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually, in this century, we talked a lot about, maybe not century, but this decade, we just talked a lot about, digital marketing, replacing kind of this out-of-home advertising. But do you guys think it's actually shifted or changed after this pandemic?
I think it's shifted.
Not after pandemic, I guess.
No, but like
because of the pandemic.
I mean, while the pandemic accelerated many digital trends and digitalization itself, I think it also gave us some different perspectives. And when I say us, I mean consumers. So I think what's very interesting is to see that we have, a greater appreciation for spending time outside and seeing places and we just have a different level of attention when we go around the street.
Yeah.
And I think that has a huge effect on how we relate to out-of-home advertising, because now we actually pay attention to it, while before I think many of us were just sort of already blocking it out as just visual noise on our way to doing our jobs or just living our lives. And I think this sort of changed. I don't know how you are feeling about it, but I'm walking with a way wider eye.
Yeah, I
on the
think there's
street.
done research about, people after the pandemic actually uses the outdoors a lot more, because due to the pandemic, you were forced to stay at home and you can't look and you don't want to look at digital media and screens all day long. So you actually, you were like planning to go on walks and whatever. So that gives you kind of a sense of rediscover your city, see what's around you, right? So maybe that's the trend that people are taking with them after lockdown and such.
Yeah, and I think what's also important is I think there is a huge trend of digital detox, which is very interesting. That people, when they go on these walks, it's not that they just go on walks, but they go on walks for the sake of being on a walk and looking around and not on their phones, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's similar to like how pets became like a huge thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people got pets, and that obviously requires that you spend more time outside. And I think there is a general appreciation for like removing this thing and going outside. But it's also like, it's very weird because you also saw just the rise of digital media consumption also going through the roof, right? So it was I think it's super strange. Like it's a once in a lifetime sort of experience, because we had this very strange dichotomy of spending more time digital media, right? We're watching our screens more. We're spending it at home, and also this need and desire to be outdoors and to experience those things. It's also because outdoors became a place where you actually could meet.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't be in, like if you wanted to gather more than 4 or 5 people, or you had to be outside. So that also forced people to be outside more and to look around.
And I think like in terms of its link to digital advertising and digital marketing, it's not just interesting to see how we started to appreciate outdoor again, but it's also very interesting to see how brands now have a greater sense of, connectivity or connectedness with the users, because now, based on the pandemic, we are just sharing so many more common experiences.
Yeah.
Like we may be coping differently with different scenarios and things, but the root experience is the same for us. So the brands can really find more, relation points and insights on how we humans see things. And also, I think it's very interesting to see how out-of-home advertisement can actually play a role in, just offering those additional touch points with users. So when Spotify does out-of-home advertising, that's always super fun. When Netflix does out-of-home advertising, that's always super fun. And many other brands can also sort of just see out-of-home as sort of like an extension of their otherwise digitally focused advertising.
It's exposure.
universe.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But they've also realized that out-of-home advertising is actually also social media content.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, like a good outdoor is always going to, not always, but most likely it's going to end up on social media as well.
Trend.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, take a look at this cool outdoor.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
That's
super
very
interesting.
interesting.
And you can
because-
also make it functional. Just thinking on top of my head, like there's so many people, you can just use QR codes, right?
Yeah.
And you can actually directly download or get more information or whatever. It doesn't have to be. You can really leverage the space you buy.
Yeah, I think that outdoor is like the best outdoor, and I mean we can kind of transition to this is like the experience. Like,
that's what I wanted to
like
say
I think
as well.
like, and it's interesting to see how many people are sitting there with their phones filming that experience and sort of like, hey, I want to show this to my friends and family. And I think there's very few digital display ads that are like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever shared a banner ad that I was like, hey, look at this, amazing. Like, it's very rare.
Sometimes do that.
Well, I will share like the Google, like that's a Google thing, though, like the Google logo changes,
the way it
and like the
changes.
way those things are really cool digital advertising that I usually share. Non-industry people aren't like, oh, look at this advertising. That's like never happens, but they'll send me an outdoor, or they'll send me a YouTube video from a creator that they think is cool. But ads,
Not so much.
It's not so much, right? It's
Yeah.
only us industry folk that really,
Yeah, that's a very good point of like how shareability is actually key now when it comes to like out-of-home advertising.
Is there any examples of out-of-home advertising that you think is worth highlighting, like best practice?
I mean,
If brands want to tap into that space.
there was this campaign that Netflix did where that was sort of like warning us about, staying home. Then there was also this campaign that similarly Netflix did that was promoting, I think, their new like limited series called Dracula or something like that.
the stakes.
Yeah, where it was basically, I think it was, I don't remember it right, but I think it was changing overnight.
Yeah, but the shadows of the
the shadows were
that it
basically
had like the light. Well, the thing is that it looked a certain way during the day.
Yeah,
Like it was
then
like
at night-
stakes and then at night with when the lights of the outdoor came on, then it sort of cast a shadow of Dracula's face on the ad. So that's kind of cool. There's lots of examples like that, I think.
Yeah.
Well, recently I think when you're seeing mixed reality ads, those are kind of
those
the
are
best.
nice.
Like Burger King did one a few years ago, which was like you basically had an AR filter sort of thing that when you put it up to a McDonald's ad or a competitor's ad, then it would sort of burn the ad in your phone, and then you would get an offer, right? So it actually had a coupon behind after you burned the ad. So I think mixed reality ads are really cool, and I think it's still an untapped area that we haven't, really gone into from an AR sort of standpoint.
No, those are super exciting.
Those are super exciting. And I also think like LED displays are providing like really cool opportunities for 3D display. Like you're seeing a ton of that. We just had an episode about Chinese social media, but we're seeing that a lot in China and also the US, actually. Times Square is a good example where they're just like taking over something like a corner. Usually it's like a corner of a building and it like looks like something's coming through it and it's 3-dimensional. You got to stand in a certain location.
Oh yeah,
Interesting,
okay. I saw. It's sort of becoming big in Asia now. And I also saw that there was, I think in New York, Zara did like one of these displays. I think that looked super cool and went viral, I think, on almost all platforms.
Yeah, there's a few that are like this.
Yeah,
Like 3D display on using LEDs, right? Because you can basically cover the surface area, a huge surface area and display sort of thing. So I think that's also cool. So mixed media or mixed reality, I would say, really interesting stuff going on there. And then of course, like the 3D sort of LED space is quite interesting as well.
how can brands then decide whether they should go for?
I wanted another one. Sorry. Also, I thought that what was interesting is the amount of mask advertising that happened during the pandemic as well. Like people wearing masks with logos and sort of that was out of home.
That's merchandise
that was very,
kind of thing also.
It was merchandise, but it was also like, you know, an extra way to, you know, display your brand. Which was kind of.
So how should brands then decide if they should invest in out of home advertising?
Well, I think out of home is sort of a nice layer to have if you don't have other places to put your money. That's how I see it. But again, I'm biased because obviously I work with social media, but I really see like there are certain areas that you should nail first and then go into out of home. Or if you are a brand like Wolt or Too Good To Go or someone like that with like a huge brand name and already, you know, broad awareness amongst all consumers, you could try to go, you know, out of home advertising.
Yeah, I think there's been a subgenre of sustainability based communications, like a lot of like, you know, this ad, you know, is on recycled paper and stuff like that, like putting messages like that out. For example, Coke did a very good one where it was like the sort of swoosh logo on the back end, but also like it turned into a hand and then like pointed to a recycling bin. So that sort of like sustainability messages, obviously like that's a good one to get your brand name out there and also sort of support a bigger cause. And we've seen it with Nike as well. They went really, you know, pretty big with their Colin Kaepernick stuff as part of their outdoor. So big, bold statements typically is still working extremely well. But like you said, offers. And then if you have a physical location that you want to sort of advertise for, like you see this with McDonald's and Burger King all the time, like 100 meters to this location. And I still think like that's a really relevant, if you have a place that people go to that you know that like you want to advertise, that they might not know that, hey, this clothing store, this shoe brand, or this, you know, this location is just around the corner. Then it kind of gives you this. But
that spot then is good if you are enforce it with other platforms to gain more awareness, right? Because if you just put a sign up like 100 meters to a green store, then people wouldn't know what it was unless you
like
you
have
McDonald's,
to also
Burger King,
advertise. Like you also have to have some sort of brand awareness. Also, like there's been a subgenre as well of just very satirical, almost breaking the fourth wall type of advertising. Like Oatly's been very good about that. Like, hey, this is an ad. Like,
we made it because we thought you would like it.
Yes, exactly. Like very much, you know,
ironic kind of approach.
Yeah, ironic approach and very like sort of self-deprecating in some ways. And I think that's also like a subgenre.
Self-deprecating or self-aware?
Self-aware, maybe. I don't know what you want to call it, but it basically, you know, being very meta about their sort of situation and that they're trying to advertise to you and they understand they're advertising to you.
I think meta always works because it kind of makes the users go like, oh, these people see me. And whenever you get that like I'm seen feeling, you have that instant brand connection, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. So there's a lot of that.
Yes. Cool, guys. Thank you guys for sharing.
You're welcome.
And to summarize, we have noticed after the pandemic that people actually still sticks to the outdoors and want to keep exploring the outdoors and actually pay attention, because even though we have consumed a massive amount of digital media during the lockdowns, we also reconnected with nature and we want to appreciate the outdoors. So we really think there is potential in advertising outdoors, out of home, basically. And it also kind of gives you a greater link, and you can leverage that with you, combine it with your digital marketing actually to reinforce brand awareness. And there's a lot of opportunities and different examples you can go when you want to do outdoor advertising, because it's so many different formats and you can be creative and utilize the space that's there, basically. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you found this episode useful. Subscribe to our podcast, leave your thoughts, your feedback, your comments, your likes and dislikes with us, and get a chance to win a $100 gift card to Chris's favorite website in the whole wide world, Amazon. And we are drawing winners.
Now AliExpress actually is my new favorite website.
Yeah,
we will see about it.
Yeah, you see why. All right, thank you guys for listening, and tune in for the next one.
Thank you guys. See you around.
This has been the Social Media Sucks Podcast.